At some point in your life, you probably heard someone say, you should put some money into an IRA. But what exactly is an IRA? No, I'm not a financial advisor or tax expert, but here's my 2 cents. IRA simply stands for Individual Retirement Account. And there are 2 main types, a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. You may have also heard the term 401k, and all that means is that it's an employee-sponsored retirement plan. You may have also heard the terms 457B, offered to government public service employees, and 403B, which is offered to nonprofit, non-government workers. But for the purposes of keeping it simple, I'm gonna assume you don't have an employer putting money in for you. And you know what? You don't need them. You can do it on your own. Now, imagine your IRA is like planting an orange tree. Over time, that tree grows and produces lots of oranges, your savings for retirement. But here's the important part. The difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA is when you give up some of your oranges to the tax man. So with a traditional IRA, you don't have to give up any oranges right now. You hold on to all your oranges as the tree grows. But when you pick those oranges in retirement, the tax man shows up and takes a chunk of everything you've grown. But with a Roth IRA, it works a little differently. You give the tax man 1 orange up front when you first plant the tree. And here's the best part. Your tree keeps growing and producing even more oranges over time. And when you pick them in retirement, you keep everything. No more taxes, no matter how much the tree grows. Why does this matter? If you think your tree will grow a lot more in the future, meaning if you think you'll have more money and might be in a higher tax bracket, then a Roth IRA could be better. You give up 1 orange now, but when your tree is loaded with fruit later, it's all yours, tax-free. With a traditional IRA, you're delaying that tax bill, which could work if you expect your tree to grow less, or if you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. I personally think taxes will be higher in the future. And that is why all my money goes into a Roth instead of a traditional. So, now that I've convinced you to put money into a retirement account, how do you get started? It's pretty much an online savings account you create through a financial institution like Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. Then you just transfer money from your bank account into the online IRA account you created. As of 2024, the maximum you can transfer into an IRA per year is $7,000. Unless you're 50, then you can put in $8,000. You can send this money all at once, or you can put it in smaller amounts throughout the year, like once every month. Once you have the money in the account, it's time to invest, because it's not gonna work for you if it sits there. To keep it really simple, all you have to do is purchase one thing. Ticker symbol SPY. SPY is what's known as an exchange traded fund. In really simple terms, it's like a basket of stocks that tracks the performance of the S&P 500, which is a group of 500 of the biggest companies in the US. When you buy SPY, you're basically buying a small piece of all these 500 companies at once, instead of buying individual stocks. It's a really good way to invest in the overall US stock market without having to choose specific companies. And the great part is, it's earned 10% per year since its inception. So you put the max amount you can every year and invest in SPY, and then you could pull it out completely tax-free at age 59 and a half. But let's say that you need that money before then in an emergency. You can still take it out, but you pay a 10% penalty on whatever you take out. Here are the only cons that I see for the Roth versus traditional IRA. Number 1, if you make $161,000 as a single person or $240,000 as a married filing jointly couple, you can't do a Roth IRA, but you can still participate in a traditional IRA. Number 2, you get no tax deductions in a Roth. So let's say you make $57,000 one year and you put $7,000 into a Roth, you will still be taxed on the full $57,000. Whereas in a traditional IRA, if you put in $7,000, you will be taxed on only $50,000 of your income. So you get that tax deduction in a traditional IRA. But even with these disadvantages, you still win out with a Roth IRA. Now let's go to this website on Voya Financial. so you can see what I'm talking about. This is a really cool website because it has a financial calculator which shows you the difference between a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA. You can put in a bunch of parameters. Say, for instance, in this case, I put the current age was 30, the age at retirement is 60. So that gives you 30 years to invest. Your adjusted gross income is $60,000. You can put in $7,000 every year. So in the 30 years, you're going to put in $210,000. Then you have the expected rate of return, which I'm assuming is about 10% if you just invest in the S&P 500. And the current tax rate is 22% at that $60,000. I'm not assuming that you are married or that you have an employer plan. So once you put in all of those things, you can then see that the totals at retirement is $1.2 million for a Roth IRA versus $1.169 million in a traditional IRA, which means you essentially saved about $97,000 more. That's how much you made more than a traditional IRA by investing in this method. So there you have it. Roth IRA for the win. Now that extra $100,000 might only be worth a burger in 30 years, but hell, I'd rather have that than nothing. If you like this content, like and subscribe. More to come.